Good evening and welcome to the Midday News. The Midday News is live on Joy 99.7 FM here in Accra and Kumasi. We're on Love 99.5 FM. We're on myjoyonline.com. We're also live in all 16 regions on Sun City Radio in Keta. We are in Radio Max in Takrade, A1 Radio in Bolga, Tanga, and ATL FM in Cape Coast. We're live on X Spaces. We're on Facebook. The Midday News is sponsored by Petrol Sol, your clean fuel in full quantity. Petrol Sol is always a delightful experience. Also brought to you by Duraplus Ghana Limited, producers of quality PVC and HDPE pipes and water tank. We are the only water storage tank with a level indicator, and where Duraplus goes, water flows. This afternoon, residents of Block Factory at East Tresako here in Accra living in fear and shock after two off-duty policemen were shot and killed by unknown gunmen Thursday evening.
Some action movie they were doing here. It was just, the gun was just running. They just opened fire. Then more than, if I'm not exaggerating, more than 10 bullets. So like it was just running.
We're live in the area, plus a manhunt is underway to arrest the perpetrators. Also this afternoon, Office of the Special Prosecutor begins investigations into alleged corruption involving Member of Parliament for Kwadaso and some electoral officials during the Ejisu by-election.
And you think that I will influence them in that public space. I have not bribed anybody. I have not influenced anybody to vote or to do anything untoward.
Also in this package, minority in Parliament calls for the immediate arrest and prosecution of persons responsible for the sale of lands at Ramsar sites as the Greater Accra Regional Coordinating Council races against time to salvage what's left of the Tema Sakumono Ramsar site as the rainy season sets in.
If the care is not taken, all those lands will be gone, and the repercussion will be so bad. But if you look at the strategies like I said previously, it will be very easy to put down those structures. But we need to look for those who allocated those structures. That is the most important thing. Who are behind the improvement of the river? We need to bring them up.
But who are those behind the sale of this Ramsar site?
Told one Gideon, 102, and Lukman are behind the sale of the Ramsar. If I hear or see any of them entering the Ramsar, if I hear fifing, they will have a problem with me.
We have sports.
Africa's greatest boxer, Zuma Nelson, returns to the ring for the first time in 16 years. Details in 20 minutes.
And much later.
Pray that hopefully by next year our fortunes will even get better and we'll become #1 in Africa.
And Ghana close up on World Press Freedom Index from 62nd to 50th position. But the opposition NDC says it's not cause to celebrate.
Killing of journalists, kidnapping, unwarranted sentencing, physical attacks, arrests and detentions.
I remember
those
XYZ
are the
UTV,
things that have led us to where we are. It's not about remuneration per se.
So I get.
That's and more in this afternoon's edition of the Midday News. I am Emefa, Apawu, and this is your home of independent, fearless, and credible journalism. Please do stay on for details. Many thanks for your company. And residents of Block Factory at East Tresako here in Accra say they are living in fear and in shock after two off-duty policemen were shot and killed by unknown gunmen Thursday evening. We'll be hearing from them shortly, but first, the Ghana Police Service says a manhunt is underway to arrest the perpetrators who fled on a motorbike. Maxwell Agbagba is in the community. He's filed this report earlier.
It's a busy day here in this Block Factory community, with residents going about their normal duties. This community is just on the right-hand side of the motorway, directly opposite the Dominion Center. About 5 men are busy molding blocks here. Probably the reason, probably why this community was a Block Factory. But a cloud of fear still hangs on this community, barely 24 hours after unknown gunmen shot and killed two off-duty police officers here. Let me speak to one of the residents here to find out exactly what happened. Hi, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. And you?
I'm also fine. Tell us what exactly happened yesterday.
Me, actually, I wasn't outside the house. I was in my room when I heard the multiple gun shooting. Then we rushed out. When we came out, we saw the two of my co-tenants lying down lifeless. So that's what basically happened. I wasn't outside, so I don't have much details about what really happened.
So how do you? How many gunshots did you hear?
Hey, the gunshot there, like some action movie they were doing here. It was just the gun was just running. They just opened fire. Then more than, if I'm not exaggerating, more than 10 bullets. So like it was just running.
And you were telling me that you usually sit outside with the two.
Yeah, I sit outside with any of them. Like we sit outside every evening and chat. They are my co-tenants and I'm free with them, so we just sit outside and chat. But
so tell us what happened when they were shot. What happened when people came out? What did you see?
We just saw their bodies lying down. That's all. We didn't see anybody here. Like people were now coming around, gathering here, but we didn't see anything. We just saw their bodies lying down. So they happened to.
You understand? One was taken rushed to the hospital.
Yeah.
Which among them was rushed to the hospital?
That's the CID. The CID was rushed to the hospital because people said he was still breathing, he was still alive. So, but the time they got to the hospital, he was confirmed dead. Yeah.
Are they here with their kind of family?
Yeah, the CID is married. He's living with the wife, but the other guy is single. So
where is the wife now, as we speak?
As we speak, when they go to the hospital, the lady has not returned from the hospital. So currently, we don't know where she is. But I learned they took her to one hotel for them to cancel her because she cannot take it. That's what we heard.
I've been interacting with a lot of the residents and they tell me they're now living in a state of fear because if this could happen to police.
Yeah, me right now. Yesterday I was calling my landlord that I want my balance to live here because I could have been a victim. That I don't know anything about whatever that is happening. We don't know whatever they have, any problem they have with anybody. I could have been a victim if I was also sitting outside here. So there's the fear there. There's fear, Papa. We are afraid. We are afraid for our lives. Yeah.
Well, that's some shocking details that the residents is narrating to my colleague Maxwell, but he's still in the area and joins us live on the line. Maxwell, so you're still in the community interacting with all those who witnessed what happened, but really, have we been able to tell who exactly is behind this and what exactly happened?
Well, Emefa, we have been learning a lot from the incident that happened. A team of policemen from the Criminal Investigations Department, we met on the ground. We're here picking up the needed evidence, but we're tight-lipped and we're not ready to provide any information. So the details we have are purely from eyewitnesses and co-tenants of the deceased policemen. We are told the two were seated outside like they usually do when the shooting happened. We're told it wasn't just one or two gunshots, but was in rapid succession, and quite a number of co-tenants have corroborated this assertion. We are told one of them tried rushing back into the compound of the house after he was shot, but fell and became unconscious before he died later. So when you enter the compound where I am right now, you can still see his blood splattered here on the floor. The second policeman, we are told, died just minutes after he was shot. He tried fleeing to cross the motorway, but he fell in some grass in front of the house. His blood also still visible in the grass here. Where the policeman lived is about just 50 meters away from the motorway. So the killers were able to join the motorway and then spread off. We have also been learning, Emefa, about the two deceased policemen, but some of the information we cannot independently verify. One of the tenants told me that one of the policemen was a bodyguard to a member of parliament, and the other is a CID, part of the Criminal Investigation Department. We are told 3 of them actually lived in the house, but one of them had traveled. The tenants in the house tell us that if he had been at home, he would definitely be seated outside with his colleagues because that's where they usually sit. And the number could have been 3 and would have been 3 and not 2. Another disturbing information we are learning is that because it was not too late, some children were playing in front of the house and they saw how the killing panned out. The residents think that the children were only scared because they are young. I'm also told that this is not the first time someone from the house has been shot. A tenant in the house says last year a similar incident happened. The person who was shot survived and later left the community out of fear. Emefa.
Well, that's Maxwell Agbagba giving us all the details from East Tresako, and that's the block factory area following that killing of 2 off-duty policemen. And as suspected, the Ghana Police Service has issued a statement to that effect, saying that there's a manhunt underway. My colleague on the security desk, Mamisi Nyamiche Thompson, joins me in studio with details of what the police is saying. What exactly is contained?
Exactly, Emefa. So as of 9:40 p.m. In the evening last night, the police said it's on a manhunt for 2 gunmen who fatally shot 2 off-duty police officers sitting in front of their private residence at Block Factory, as we already know, and that the gunmen did not take anything from the victims and sped off on a motorbike. And according to the police, an intelligence-led operation to get the suspects arrested is currently ongoing.
Okay. Well, we'll be following the police page closely for updates on this particular story as it unfolds. And my colleague Maxwell Agbagba is also on the ground live for us. And when we get more, we'll bring that to you. But we've been hearing from security analyst Dr. Adams Bona. He believes the killing was targeted.
Well, what could be the cause? I would say it's difficult at the moment. One can propound various theories, but what I can say is that this looks more, on a cursory look, it looks more of a targeted killing. Either the guys are around the area or these guys were given tip-off that the police officers had returned home and they were out in front of their homes taking fresh air, so the killers could come and finish them. And so there are 2 things: either they are around, the killers live around the area, or someone gave them a tip-off that they are there. The other thing has to do with the fact that these things happen sometimes. And one would say, in arresting them, the police have figured out a way to arrest, these dangerous criminals in 48, 72 hours. And so the expectation is that this time around, the IGP, who has done significantly well over the years, will rise up to the occasion again and arrest these perpetrators of this heinous crime in a very short time so that they can be put before court.
That's Adam Bonais, a security analyst. Now, Joy News can exclusively report that the Office of the Special Prosecutor has begun investigations into alleged corruption in respect of public election involving the Member of Parliament for Kwadaso and some electoral officials during the Idriso by-election. Investigators from the OSP have arrested and questioned several interested parties as it delves into the corruption allegations, while the Member of Parliament for Kwadaso, Professor Kingsley Nyako, was caught on Joy News TV cameras and giving an envelope to some officials of the Electoral Commission at the Church of Pentecost polling station at Fomiasua during the Idriso by-election. Well, my colleague Ohiming Teria, whose camera actually caught the incident, joins us live on the phone with details of what exactly we're learning. Ohiming, what more can you share with us?
Thank you, Emefa. I picked information that the investigators from the office, the special investigator, zoomed into action on Tuesday. Immediately, the issue was reported on TV, and that they have been in the Ashanti region for a couple of days now, and many people that they believe are parties to the incident have been arrested and interrogated. Initially, the belief was that only 2 electoral officials and the MP could be involved, but my impression is that many interested parties have been picked up as far as this issue is concerned.
Well, interested parties picked up. I'm very interested in that. Does it include the Kwadaso MP?
Emefa, my sources will not say whether the MP is among those who have been arrested and interrogated, but the source tells me there's an immunity to parliamentarians that perhaps comes into play when the issue of the MP for Kwadaso came up, but though the source wouldn't divulge information as to whether the MP is involved but he says many interested parties. And if we are talking about interested parties, don't forget the MP is a direct party to the incident. Was recorded on Joy News, but the source wouldn't divulge information as to whether he's among those who have been arrested and interrogated.
Ohiming Terrier there, thank you so much for joining us. Ohiming Terrier still following up on that, and we'll find out if indeed the MP himself has also been questioned by the OSP. But Member of Parliament for Ningo Pram Sam George wants the OSP to investigate and prosecute all those involved.
By now should have been invited and arrested by the Office of Special Prosecutor.
Who?
Kinsley Nyako.
Your colleague,
yes.
The Kwadaso legislator.
Yes.
He should have been what? Arrested by the police?
By the Office of Special Prosecutor. Because the law gives the OSP the power to do this. And you've seen the OSP invite parliamentary candidates who gave money to delegates, who have come out to say they gave X amount to come and prove how. How is it? And again, kudos to Joy, because it was your cameras that captured it. Your reporter was giving the story, and we saw it happen.
We got it all
kudos to you. If it wasn't for your reporter doing his job and filing his report, we wouldn't have seen it.
Ningo Pram MP Sam George, now minority in Parliament, is calling for the arrest and prosecution of persons behind the sale of lands at Ramsey sites in the Greater Accra region. While this follows the encroachment of the Tema Sakumono Ramsey site, meant to act as a water basin. While despite earlier warnings, hundreds of new structures have sprung up directly in the waterway with the help of faceless individuals. The ranking member on the Works and Housing Committee of Parliament, Vincent Oponga Samoa, wants these faceless individuals to be identified, arrested and prosecuted to preserve the land. We'll get to hear from him, but first, my colleague Michael Ashali toured the Tema Sakumono Ramsey site with the regional minister designate Titus Glover and came through with this report.
In 2022, Henry Korte, the former head of the Greater Accra Regional Security Council, vowed to restore the integrity of the heavily encroached Tema Sakumono Ramsey site.
But certainly I can say that some houses will go down to make way for a new core.
2 years later, the encroachment continues unabated, much to the surprise of the new head of the Security Council, Daniel Nikwate Titus Glover.
See right here, this is just not right. This is just not right. Look at that.
Ramsey sites also serve as holding bays for thousands, but currently, there are no plans to remove any of these structures.
Regularization is essential because you've put money in there, and it will be very, very wicked on my part to break somebody's property. Do you understand? So what we need to do is that the ADD didn't go, but what is left, we need to protect it.
Well, more names emerge as key individuals selling lands in the Tema Sakumono Ramsey site. Well, the Greater Accra Regional Minister designate Titus Glover told my colleague Michael Ashali that some persons have been identified and he promises to deal with them.
Whoever is behind this, it must stop. Some names have been mentioned to me. I'm yet to find out. Hydro from the Works and Housing Ministry, we need to bring them along. We need to bring Forestry Commission here so that we can sit and see how we can really sanitize this place so that we can save lives. It will be very, very sad on my part that when lives are being lost, properties are being destroyed, then somebody will point the finger at His Excellency the President that he's not doing much. That is why I'm here. And let me send a warning to those in Tema. I'm told one Gideon, 102, and Lukman are behind the sale of the Ramsar. Nobody has title to the land there. If I hear or see any of them entering the Ramsar in Sakumono, Klagon, Ajekojo, Committee 3, Committee 6, Committee 10, 11 and 12, if I hear 15 that they go into the Ramsar in that place, they will have a problem with me. So I've instructed them, nobody should go into the Ramsar until we are finished with every matter.
That's the Greater Accra Regional Minister designate Titus Glover. Well, he continues his tour today. This time they are in Wager, and my colleague Michael Ashale is with the team. What exactly have we observed today?
So, Emefa, we were at what we understand to be the Makati Salvation area. From the observation we got was that a class of Chinese companies are helping local indigenes to load a lot of laterites to fill that marshy land and also sell it out. There was one gentleman who introduced himself as a traditional authority in the area who also admitted that the land belongs to him and therefore he feels that he can sell it. and he was asked to bring his documents to the ministry. But the minister designate stands firm and says that because these lands are Ramsar sites, it becomes difficult for anybody to claim title or ownership of these areas, except when they have documentation from the Forestry Commission, and that he doesn't think they have. Okay. But more conversations will happen. But what we know now is that that's ordered for immediate seizure in all activities within the area that we visited today.
That's my colleague Michael Ashale. We can wrap it all up with the call for arrest and prosecution of persons responsible for the sale of lands by the ranking member of the Works and Housing Committee of Parliament, Vincent Asamoah.
If care is not taken, all those lands will be gone, and the repercussion will be so bad. But if you look at the structure, just like I said previously, it will be very easy to put down those structures. But we need to look for those who are located those structures. That is the most important thing. Who are behind the encroachment of the place? I will need to bring them to book. You think ordinary person can do this? So the politician, ordinary politician, or it's not politicians, we have this land commission and all those people. And Accra is becoming so big, when you talk about land issues, I'm even scared. The way things are happening in Accra, I'm even scared about it. That's why I decided that I would have to just leave in Sunyani. I wouldn't want to even have to come to Accra because I'm scared that they come to land issues in Accra, So those behind the encroachment, we need to push them out.
That's the ranking member on the Works and Housing Committee taking us on a quick break here on the Midday News, live on Joy 99.7 FM here in Accra, in Kumasi on Love 99.5 FM, also on myjoyonline.com, made possible by Petrosol, your clean fuel in full quantity, and Duraplus Ghana Limited, where Duraplus goes, water always flows. We've been hearing from residents of Block Factory at East Tresako here in Accra, living in fear and shock after 2 off-duty policemen were shot and killed in Rambo style by unknown gunmen Thursday evening. We return from the break with sport and Ghana close up on World Press Freedom Index from 62nd to 50th position by the opposition. NDC says there's no cause to celebrate.
Killing of journalists, kidnapping, unwarranted sentencing, physical attacks, arrests and detentions.
I remember
those are the things that have led us to where we are. It's not about remuneration per se.
So I get.
When budgets are tight and money difficult to come by, you want to be sure you get the best value for your money. These are not times to be spending money fixing expensive engine problems because of cheap fuel and lubricants. Drive to a Petrosol station today and buy your quality fuel and lubricants, and rest assured of fuel that lasts long and lubricants that prevent expensive engine problems. Hear the sound. Petrosol, clean fuel in full quantity.
Just like that Sochi Wachi, that's exactly what Akwaba Magic gives you. Enjoy rich Ghanaian stories like the second season of the legendary Inspector Bediako, the captivating Madame, and so much more on DSTV channel 150 and GoTV channel 102. Akwaba Magic, dear. Enjoyment and Kazankasa. Now available on DSTV Access and GoTV Plus. Akwaba Magic, Ghana's most loved storyteller.
Show time, good life time. Paddy, how is your good life?
Hey, before you attack that sumptuous variety of foods with Toto, do yourself a favor.
Wash your hands with soap under running water, your bowl before you eat, and at all other critical moments. That is,
before you cook, after you visit the toilet, change your baby's diaper,
and when you return home from anywhere.
Let's all come aboard Good Life by washing our hands with soap under running water and at all other critical moments to keep the germs away from our family. Good Life, live it well. It's an everyday thing. Good Life from Ghana Health Service and partners with support from USAID.
Thanks for staying with us. Let's do sports. Mubarak, what do we
have? Yes, Emefa. So, boxing great Azuma Nelson will face European Union ambassador Ikad Razali in an exhibition match at the Bukom Boxing Arena on Saturday. Now, Joy Sports editor Nathaniel Atto, who was a pundit on the national broadcast during his last match in 2008 against Jeff Fennick, looks ahead to the bout tomorrow.
Exhibition bouts are special in the sense that they get us to celebrate these icons and also appreciate, what they want to do in terms of pushing advocacy. Azuma Zumzum Nelson, if you know him, is someone who's very passionate about youth development, passionate about children, and passionate about social issues. Obviously, you're going to see him give some good flashes of his heyday, and I hope the EU ambassador has also prepared himself well. This is only a very, very friendly contest and a very harmless exhibition, but it's also worthy of note that 16 years ago when Azumah Nelson, fought Jeff Fenwick in that third installment, Jeff Fenwick reported to the hospital with broken ribs. Even with what we saw, the little we saw of Azumah Nelson, that just
Yeah, so that's Nathaniel Atto, who will also be the ring announcer for the bout tomorrow. That's your
And
spot.
they've been speaking on the pulse, and I'm excited about it.
Exactly.
At least we had Azumah Nelson on the pulse with Elton Brobe. We'll bring that to you subsequently. Now, let me take you to Parliament, where the majority is this afternoon jumping to the defense of the GRA SML deal, insisting no wrong has been occasioned. The NDC and some civil society organizations have been demanding the termination of the contract following the issuance of government white paper after a KPMG audit. We can hear from the majority leader.
Initially, suffered some setbacks at PPA, where on 3 occasions, PPA, through its enhanced due diligence, had challenges with it and declined approval. But while that is a fact, it is also a fact that the GRA and its board took steps to rationalize these and address the concerns made, and subsequently sent back the document in 2020 for PPA ratification, which ratification was duly approved somewhere in August. So clearly, whereas GRA was compelled to proceed on the principle of necessity to raise revenue for government to address the leakages, it was also mindful of the need to comply with law.
Well, Parliamentary Affairs correspondent Kweku Asante was at that press conference, joins us on the line. Kweku, what do they say about the demand to publish the full KPMG audit report?
Well, Emefa, they are kicking against that. This side that information that goes to the president's decision are exempt, and that is their claim, that is their understanding of the RTI law that is currently in force. It is for this reason that they believe that that report should not be made public, especially since they believe that the presidency's communication to the public has sufficiently addressed the findings of KPMG.
Okay, well, still in Parliament today, Kweku, the majority has also written to the Speaker requesting an urgent recall of the House to consider urgent government business. Have we been hearing from the minority on this?
Well, we heard from them, some leaders who to us of the record who said really if the Speaker.
Apologies for the bad connection to Kweku Asante's line, but Ghana has advanced in global press freedom rankings, climbing up to the 50th position this year. The index ranks 180 countries on the ability of journalists to work and report freely and independently. There's more in the following report.
Ghana witnessed significant progress in media freedom, climbing up 12 places in the 2024 World Press Freedom Index from the 62nd position last year. Despite the overall progress, a closer look reveals the country performed poorly in 4 out of 5 key indicators, namely political, economic, legislative, and social aspects. Now, the only area that saw improvement was press security, reaching 82.94% from 61.25% last year. But the report expresses concern on various attacks on media houses and personalities. Incidents include the intrusion of NPP supporters into a studio, an attack on a journalist during a live report in October 2023. The report also said cases of police violence against journalists often go unpunished.
Well, Sam George says this is no cause for celebration just yet, but Information Minister designate Fatimatu Abubakar applauds the strides made, revealing what her ministry is doing to improve Ghana's lot.
Over the period, what we have done as a ministry, when I was the deputy minister, under the leadership of Honorable Kojo Nkrumah, is to engage all our key stakeholders to see how best we can improve our performance when it comes to specific indicators. We are working over the period, especially with legislation. We are working on the RTI-LI, also working on the broadcasting bill, so that in terms of regulation, in terms of access to information, among others, we are able to achieve the
Information Minister designates Fatimatu Abubakar, ending today's edition of the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. Well, we missed MNJ today, Maxwell obviously on the ground, and Jackie also out of work today. And we have Living Word with Pastor Mensah Otebo, Sacrifice of Praise Part 5 coming up. Don't miss News File tomorrow at 9 a.m. on the Joy News channel. Sisida Pass and 1 million no case. AG's advice to Iyoko. We also talk about the Idrisu by-election and the EC discarding the 10 BVDs. News File is a must watch tomorrow and must listen also on Joy 99.7 FM. I am Emefa Apawu. Have a good afternoon.